how the hell is Gaza a supporting act to DJ Opsa? Gaza is the artist of the decade. So was
Welcome back to yet another episode of Off the Record with myself, Shona Ngava, Vernon the Namapapi, and Michael Kayunde. It's yet another exciting episode, and before we dive into it, how are you guys doing?
Chilling, man. It's been a minute since I actually saw you guys.
I mean, I've had a hard week, but we say, man, looking good, feeling good.
Busy,
courtesy of Cotton On,
Yeah, and
putting us
also happy with the response we got from the last episode. Shout out to all the people that watch what we do, what we talk about.
Yeah.
You guys make the show what it is.
I know the shirt that I'm wearing right now looks like it's pink, but it's mauve, or whatever it's called.
Whatever
It's a very rich color, but I like it.
Yeah.
Of course, we are dressed by Reynard Mahali. Cotton On also came through for the boys, and we are at Tatakulu's Barbershop. Today's topic is one of my favorite topics because it's something that I like to stress, something that I like to talk about whenever we are around each other. We are focusing on corporates and the roles that they play within the music business or the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
I want to pull out my phone because I have a few statements that I want you guys to either agree on, disagree on. You as well at home, you can also chime in and let me know. I made a few notes based on what I know from corporates in the industry, right?
Yeah. Apparently corporates sue, so he has to make sure.
What I wrote down here is that it says industry, the music business or the entertainment industry is too reliant on corporates, and it's not always the best thing because I feel like in the industry that we are in, we need immediate stakeholders. When I say immediate stakeholders, I'm talking about, look at the numbers with MTC and NBC. If we had, let's say, a record label in place or a conglomerate of record labels who are working together, right?
Like a recording institute, for example.
Recording institute, like they do in South Africa.
Yeah.
They come up with their own awards and then they just look for sponsors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If we had that type of mechanism where we had our own industry rally together and then they go to the corporates to actually fund them, then we wouldn't have that backlog we have right now where we don't have an award ceremony possibly that's going to take place this year.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if an industry is too reliant on corporates, you're going to have a domino effect.
But I think to a certain extent, the entertainment industry here, yes, corporate involvement is very important and in helping us elevate what we are doing. But I really do applaud the Namibian musicians as well as just people in the entertainment space as a whole, because corporate sponsorships comes in different kinds of forms and types, right?
Yeah.
So in Namibia, the sponsorships that we get here most of the time are sponsorships that are in kind. So it's not necessarily financial, injections that they inject in our projects and things that we do. So most of the things that that you see, people are actually putting their own money behind it.
Exactly.
So right now, I'm happy with the corporates being involved, but I just want them to also, go further by now making sure that they commit funds, not just sponsoring in kind.
Also, you mentioned, record labels coming together. One thing about our record labels in, say, South Africa is that we don't have the Sony SAs or the Universals here. Our labels don't have the money to start
What I'm saying,
and maintain
they can just come together,
like that,
form like a union or a body that takes into consideration like all the artists' needs, their wants, and whatever, actually that backs them up whenever there's issues. Because I don't feel like NASCAM does its job. They could have stepped in and did something like that. So that's what I mean when we say that. When I say we are too reliant on corporates, the moment that corporates move away, then we don't have anything else for ourselves.
But in the last year, 2020, even beginning of this year, I saw a lot of creatives starting projects on their own. Even this show, we started this show without any corporate backing, and then we had corporates, we had people come on board that said, you know, they want to help us out. So sometimes you just gotta, if as a creative in Namibia, you just gotta start, bro. You just gotta start your project with the little you have.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
And then, you
And
know,
also to just the corporates themselves, you know, I think in their mandate, they do have what is called, you know, corporate
social responsibility.
So I also, it irks me when people apply for this kind of funding, and especially now, we are always hit with the COVID. You know, I think it's a lame excuse, you know, because there is there is a budget from different corporates that are just supposed to be, you know, channeled towards corporate social responsibility, where arts and entertainment also fits
I was
in.
actually gonna get to that because I feel like when corporates get in connection, or when they partner up with our musicians or creators, they rely way too much on their own ethos, their own principles, to a point where I feel like they don't really care much about the artists. For them, at the end of the day, it's all about a return on investment. It's all about
Marketing.
corporate social responsibility and how they look.
Yeah.
When they partner with artists, how do we protect artists from also just being used by these brands for the sake of them being used? Like, what can I do? Like, what as an artist to protect myself? That's basically what I'm trying to ask you guys.
No, I think the artists themselves also need to make sure that they align with brands that associate with what they are doing, you know. You find that there are certain artists who do not drink, right? But they're pushing alcoholic brands, you know. That I have a problem with that, you know. So, and that is just an example. So for you as an artist to get out of to get something out of a corporate brand, right? You need to make sure that they align with what you stand for, because otherwise they're going to make you do something that you don't stand for, and then you're going to look like a coward because you don't drink, but you're out there on posters. You know? And I'm not saying that is not you can't do that, but at least just make sure it's clear. People know that you are just pushing it. You know, not making people seem like that's what you actually do in real life type of thing. So yeah.
Also, when most of the time when corporates approach artists, it's for their objectives. But when an artist approaches the corporate, it means like, I have an initiative and I want to do it my way. And then obviously the corporate will say, okay, let's do it in a way that pleases us both. Now, as an artist or as a creative, just make sure you build a strong brand too, and make sure you approach many corporates, because sometimes these people are sometimes the corporate social responsibility funds are just sitting there and carried over to the next year. So write up those proposals. That's as an artist, as a creative, start there. Write up your proposals, put something on paper, and then approach these corporates. And funny enough, it's crazy how, I'm sure you as a creative, this has happened to you. You write this proposal, you send it to them, no reply, or they will reply to you. A while later, you just see a project from that company, similar or a bit similar to yours, that you actually proposed to them.
That's why you need to go to BIPA to patent and copyright your idea. If you go to a brand with your idea, you don't do that, then it's on you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's on you.
So another point that I also wrote down, I'm getting to my last note. Corporates need to work with artists and work on relationships and not just business-based, what is it, like a business relationship. The way that I'm looking at it, and the reason why I'm saying this is because if you take a look at how corporates are moving in other countries like Africa, Zambia, for example, where I've been before, I feel like that side, you actually get to see these brands make an impact, and they get to make like a change in an artist's life, because when they partner up with them, it's just not about, okay, sell our products.
Yeah.
These guys are actually being flown out, they are being treated like, you know, superstars. Here it's just business as usual. In Namibia, we have the corporates that just come out and then they just announce that we are working with who and who, but we don't see how it affects the corporates, like the brands that they are tapping into lives.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have to say on that?
I think with time we are going to get to that point. Right now, we are really at the beginning stages of, as creatives, eating from this corporate money. You know, so a lot of artists and musicians that are asking for help from these brands, they don't have the power to negotiate to get out what they want from the brand. So the brand will just say, this is what we're going to give you, and you're just starting off, you know, and you actually maybe need, that's why I said most of the time the sponsorships that we have here are in kind. So artists are just going to settle for that because, you know, you need someone to take care of a certain budget for your project. Instead of saying, yo guys, I actually have this type of following, I'm strong enough, if you guys are not going to pay me, I'm not going to do that. Right now we don't have that power to say, I'm not going to settle for what you guys are offering, but we are like just at the mercy of the brands.
All right, I want to take it up a notch and say that I feel like the corporates in Namibia are actually not doing enough for me.
Yeah,
I want to see Power Play give Gaza a car. I want to see Predator give KP Illis a car that he can ride for the duration of his deal. You know, I want to see them invest in reality TV, for example. Like they need
especially
to do,
now,
like,
content is like the biggest thing.
Content is the biggest thing. Like the way that most corporates in the country push their products for me is they just show us their products. They don't tell us how their products can actually change our lives. And obviously it's on them to decide whether they want to take that route where they actually make their marketing much more experiential, much more immersive. Because if you take a look at influencer marketing and how it works, in Namibia it's just like, it's dry, like, because people don't get to see how the app that you're pushing changes my life as the brand that you're tapping into, or like if I want to buy your brand, or like your what is it, your app, like how can it influence my life? We never see that. What the brands do is just show us their products, but they don't really tell us how it can.
I think that's where we actually need to tap in as an industry. You know, we need to demand what we are owed, because these artists are powerful. You know, they have huge followings, but they are there settling for just getting cases of drinks and stuff like that.
I think you guys have spent a lot of time on this with the notes and everything, and I just want to mention that artists should work on their brands, give themselves some bargaining power, and that is by just simple things like doing quality photo shoots, making your music videos are quality, making your music is quality and out there, and watching what you tweet and just the way you look, the way you carry yourself. These are the simple things we need to focus on. So artists should also just work on their branding as well. Invest in your brand.
I wanna throw a bone to both of you. What artists do you feel like who are doing very well with their brands, but they don't have enough corporate endorsements? I'll mention the name. The reason why I'm asking, I feel like
there are so many.
DJ Spooza for me is killing it right now, but there isn't like a lot of corporate endorsements on his side.
Facts.
He's doing the most for me, like his streams,
that's where the management
social
comes
media
in.
numbers, and maybe my neighbor as well. I'll throw in my neighbor. I feel like these guys can work with a lot more corporates. What other Namibian artists or creatives you feel like you see them pushing very hard, but they don't have the corporate backing? Who can you mention in that regard?
There's so many, man. Like the list is endless. The list is endless, and I'll just say that's where your management team comes in. That's where the people that write proposals and the people that work on your brand come in. There are so many artists. We'll be here all day if we name the names. But
and also let's not actually make it about the artists, right? Let's put the blame on the corporates as well. Because at the moment, if you look at it, we only have like MTC, Top Score,
FNB,
Standard Bank, like those four.
Horizon, Namibia Breweries.
Yeah, NBL. Like those four are the ones that are really investing in the arts, space. But we have so many other corporates in Namibia that we don't know where their corporate social responsibility budget goes to.
Yeah, facts.
So shout out to those brands that I mentioned, but TN Mobile, besides
MTC is doing the most.
Besides you making sure that our internet and stuff like that is actually not working all the time. I was actually having a problem last week.
They are trying right now, guys.
Come on, TN Mobile, get on board.
They are trying right now with the Tala Namibia Festival, or Tala Festival, the Namibia's first online film
Shout
festival.
out to them for that, but they need to.
They're not big enough.
Yeah, they need. Yeah, MTC is giving them a run for their money.
All right, I want us to focus on something else that I've noticed happen over the past few years in the industry, where most of our artists are actually now rebranding themselves. name changes, and I don't know whether it works.
That's actually an interesting thing, because for me, I think the only artist, according to me, the only artist who has actually got the rebranding thing correct is Otea.
Otea.
Yeah. Everybody else.
You don't think TD did very well?
Nah, I think TD is
We
always
still
going
call
to
him
be
the dog. If you
bro.
listen to radio, they'll
Yeah,
say the
it's-
dog
yeah,
was
it's the dog,
one I
bro.
loved.
Yeah,
For real, like MC Ray is now Kwame Sankara. I feel like but then he had a lot
Nah.
more.
Now, I
rapport.
think so many artists, try to rebrand, but they don't get it right.
What about Desmond now? Was Lil D? That didn't age well.
That didn't work at all.
Yeah,
That didn't work at all.
out for me. And the thing also with rebranding is, I think I read somewhere, when you rebrand, right, you are supposed to stop performing the music that you released under your previous
Under the
name.
previous name.
So now King TD is still performing music that he made as the dog. So now tell me if he got it.
Actual rebranding even.
Yeah, you see. So that is my beef. I feel like it's in Namibia they use it as a marketing ploy for them when they want to put out new music. They always say, "Nah, I'm rebranding, I'm this," but come on, just stick to your name and work. Just ride with that, because rebranding comes with a lot of it's a budget.
Yeah.
If we take it to, let's say, NAST, right? Just as an example. When they came from Poly to NAS, they had to everything rebrand.
Yeah.
So that actually applies to musicians when you are supposed to start rebranding. You rebrand everything from your logos, your everything, but they don't do that here. They just say, "My name is no longer that. I'm but it doesn't work like that. So if you're going to say you want to rebrand, have a budget for it, and make sure you actually do it the right way.
Yeah.
And stop performing music that you released with your other previous name. Yeah.
And starting from the beginning, also when you are creating your brand, I know a lot of artists start young and they don't have these thoughts of, okay, how will my brand look on a t-shirt? How will my name look on a billboard? How will my name look on a streaming platform? How can I capitalize on this name? So if you're gonna start your brand, even a company, think of how you can capitalize on this brand, whether it's merchandise, whether it's other products that's under your brand, and how are you gonna make this brand the umbrella brand of many little products. So just think of that as well.
And when you're also rebranding, I'm not sure whether artists do their research or whether they take time to actually figure out what names they're gonna take on, because we have Script. And then there's the international, I think it's a rock group called Script as well.
Yeah.
So the moment that you decide you're gonna be a big international artist, you'll have to change your name. It happened with The Weeknd, for example.
Yeah.
He was clashing with some other artists who also had the same name. So he removed, I think, an E from his name because
Or something, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's very important when you are rebranding as an artist, you take into consideration a lot of factors, from legal issues, also just your legacy. King TD now is what we technically know him as the dog, but he can't wipe that whole legacy that he brought with him.
Even though TD was his,
that was the name that he was
nickname,
using.
but it's still not catching
So
on.
you guys don't feel like there was a rebranding at all?
Like Mike said, he's still performing the songs.
Maybe it's just me. If you're at home and you're watching this, do you feel like when King TD
The concept was cool. The
Yeah.
concept was cool.
Yeah, the
He
concept
got
was
the
cool.
numbers, but still.
And shout out to him for that, because I think he used that concept to push the whole rebranding thing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to also rebrand now, have something, to actually cement what you're trying to do. You cannot just wake up and say, "Guys, I'm releasing a new single tomorrow, a new album tomorrow, and I'm going to release it under this name."
Yeah.
Without a whole structure and
Yeah,
thought to
yeah.
it, which I feel like a lot of artists do. I feel like it's not smart. It's literally just you tainting your legacy.
Facts.
Yeah, because now you will have to start over again unless you are really good. King TD can slowly, subtly actually get away with it because
He's the dog.
He's
the
King
King
TD, man.
TD.
He doesn't have to prove himself.
Yeah.
But if you're watching at home, and I just want to find out from your end, like, do you feel like the artists that have rebranded themselves, or if you know of any, have they done a very good job? Because I feel like TD, like to a certain extent, did that, very well. He came back with at least like a few more 5-6 hits, and then and then everything else just dwindled.
Two songs, bro.
What do you mean?
And then features. Come on, let's not get into that, but yeah.
Okay, so I want us to delve into another serious issue or another topic that is always a trending thing on social media. And it deals with social justice, it deals with the rights of women and stuff like that, with regards to creatives in the industry, with focus to musicians, right? Should a musician, right, perform at an establishment of somebody who is accused of having raped women, having abused women, gender-based violence? Should they, go to these establishments and perform, or should their morals and their rights or whatever, their values stop them from doing that?
I think for me, what I find sort of contradicting is when these musicians, right, they're on social media and then they are calling out these establishments, shaming them, naming them and shaming them, but they will still take a gig after like 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
That for me is contradicting.
Yeah.
So if you're on social media saying, let's not go to that establishment, let's not go to that club, but 5 months later, you are on the poster that you are going to perform at that club. And then you never actually said, okay, maybe that person was actually just accused, or like we need to know, like, the same way you were saying, cancel this place, you should now tell us, okay, it's okay now because of this and that, which I feel many artists do not do, because you were telling us not to go to this place last year. This year you are being booked every weekend there. What does that say about you? Is it about job is just job, or what's going on? Are you really supporting the cause, or are you just, jumping on because everybody is saying the same thing on social media?
Just to flip the page a bit, if you look at event organizers, if you look at other creative organizations that book artists, say if an artist was linked with a certain issue that they don't stand for, or even if it's just a certain issue, even just the fans, there was an incident where a certain artist was labeled homophobic for what they said. Next thing, they were performing at a
Top Cherry, just say the name.
Top Cherry.
Yes.
They were performing at a LGBTQ rights, the outright event. So it's both ways too. Outright, they saw, they stand for LGBTQ rights, and Top Cherry, just a month or a couple of weeks before,
had a very racy tweet.
Yeah, had a homophobic tweet. So
was it
homophobic though?
It was labeled homophobic on social media. I deem it as homophobic.
When you read it, you felt like it was homophobic?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you saying?
Also, the whole industry, from the artist to the organizer, even to the fans, everybody has double standards.
Yeah.
So that's why I won't judge. Personally, I won't judge an artist for taking that job. But if I, say, as Vernon, if I say, nah, I don't like that, I'm not going to go to that institution or that organization or work with them for certain reasons that I won't do it. So like you said, artists should also not do that, but I won't. If somebody takes their check over their morals, whatever they stand for, then cool.
All right, but I am an artist, right? And my argument is that I'm going through a pandemic and I need to pay my bills.
Yeah.
So I can't take on that project. Is basically what you guys are saying. It basically boils down to the artist at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, if you're at home, do you agree that artists should take on these job offers from very controversial club owners who are accused of rape, abusing women, and gender-based violence? All right?
Let us know in the comment section.
Let us know in the comment section. I want to ask you guys, before we close up the show, a question that or like a thing that I was thinking about recently. What do you guys think the entertainment industry in Namibia is worth?
Worth?
If you had to consider the artists that we are booking, either international, we're also getting to that, international or local artists, right? And as well as, tickets that are being sold, events that are being organized in totality.
So you want us to
And
like
also
put a
music
figure
streams.
to it?
Yeah, also music streams. Because I know South Africa's label, the entertainment industry or like the music industry is close to 2.2 billion.
Listen, I can't put a figure to it, but I can tell you now, Namibian artists can pull a crowd. During COVID, Lioness had a gig, November, sold out. Just now, Waters had a gig at Ikuta, sold out. Kevo Maro had a gig during COVID, sold out. Gaza, 10,000 people. King TD, 20,000 people. Top Cherry can sell out. Spooza can sell out. These organizers are acting like Namibian artists cannot pull a crowd. Listen, we don't put enough respect on Namibian artists. How the hell is Gaza a supporting act to DJ Opsa? Gaza is the artist of the decade. So was King TD contender. Now Gaza has to be a supporting act to a DJ Opsa.
Whoa, okay.
Come on, dog. We don't respect our artists enough.
I need a figure.
Yo, it's going to be tough for me to put a figure to it, but probably not higher than 30 million, man.
For real?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I was between 50 and 100 mil.
Nah, I don't think so. But yeah,
Can we really put a figure to it?
Like that's just my estimation, though.
Right,
I don't think it's worth.
Let's just wrap it up. Lastly, what do you guys feel about this international acts being, or South African artists being booked into Namibian events?
It's good entertainment, but I do feel like Namibian artists themselves also need to take opportunity of, advantage of these guys coming here and them doing collaborations as well. We cannot just have them come here and get our money and go back.
Yeah, like I already said, it's cool that they're coming here, but we need to put respect on our local artists to trust them to carry these events and headline these events as well.
So you are for our artists being booked
all the time and headlining
our shows.
Yeah.
All right, so that's an episode. Do let us know what you think about some of the topics. Do contribute and let us know what your thoughts are, what your feelings are, what your emotions are, and how you feel about what we said with regards to corporates, the industry, and how it operates. Lastly, let me know, what do you think that the industry
directors are going to kill this guy?
All right, so
we have
of
to
course,
wrap it up,
shout out to Reinhard Mahali for dressing us, Cotton On for dressing us, and as well as that's the coolest barbershop for always, letting us host here. Peace.